right, Shalom. Before I get started, I'm going to go all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Just the brother Bakala Walam here with another hopeful, edifying lesson to the elect body of Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi. This video, through the spirit, I felt like I need to, make a lesson on it more or less. Because more or less, this is Edom's time of being exposed. The wicked shall be revealed. And he's being exposed as is prophesied, right? And a lot of information is coming out. A lot of people are realizing how wicked these people are. So this video here just demonstrates a bit of what this devil has been doing, especially to the children of Israel, right? So this lady right here, she realized some things through history, So I'm gonna just go ahead and let it play, and then we're gonna see what it, we'll see how the spirit leads,
It's hard for me. What do you think? The reason why it's hard for me to embrace and connect with white people sometimes is because I study history so much, especially Black history. So I know about all the terrible things that they've done to us, or how before we were kidnapped and enslaved, we were doctors.
And mind you, these things that she's saying and going into are true, but they'll say they are not true because they're not taught in public schools. They got this term now, critical race theory, right? So these despicable acts, these wicked acts that Esau done to our people, they don't teach them in school. They don't talk about them more or less. So because it's basically not talked about and thrown in the background, for lack of better words, they try to make it seem like it didn't happen, and make it, and they say it's like it's a theory that these events happen, right? That's wicked. That's the wicked of Esau. He don't want any accountability. He can't be accountable,
Lawyers and queens and kings and teachers and all these other things. And then I also know how they came from the Caucasus Mountains, which is why they're called Caucasian. And when they were living in the Caucasus Mountains in the freezing cold, they didn't bathe. They didn't know how to start fires. They didn't do anything with their teeth. With their hair, they had lice. They would lay with animals and sleep with animals and just be unsanitary. And it wasn't until they met the Moors, who were like these prestigious, prominent Black people, who taught them how to make fires and how to brush their teeth and how to bathe and how to do all these things. Or the fact that they used to eat our flesh as slaves after they would kill us and hang us. Or the fact that they would have picnics and hang us as a form of entertainment. I think about all these things and I know the history of these things. And then I think about how they say that DNA, like trauma, lives in our DNA. So if the trauma of my enslaved people live in my DNA, wouldn't the colonizing, cruel, malicious, terrible ways of these people live in your DNA? The more I learned about our history, the more I realized that white people don't even know their own history, let alone ours. They thought bathing was bad, brushing their teeth, hygiene. And I mean, you can see on the internet today, they still carry those same traits. A lot of them confess that they only take baths once a week, once a month. So they still have that in their DNA, and they still carry that violence, that lying, that evil, wicked, conniving DNA from their ancestors. I mean, just look at what's going on today. Current day, 2026. What do we see going on with the white people, not even in America? All over, white people are rising up and showing us their true nature. They don't have to hide it anymore with Trump in office. Trump put that battery in their back and is allowing them to be who they've always been. The reason why it's hard for me to embrace and connect.
And like she said, yeah, that was all factual. I had to play the whole video, and the point in this, what she was saying about if the trauma that our people had experienced,
malicious,
right? The trauma that our people
experienced in our DNA, so
are in our DNA. Is it not?
form of entertainment.
Is it not true that same malicious, wicked spirit is in their DNA? It is, because more or less they are the wicked. And also, you said she was saying their ancestors, because they are their ancestors coming back. They are their forefathers, right? These Edomites, the self-proclaimed white race, right? They proclaim themselves to be white, right? They call the Negroes and black, like they label everybody else. But just like she was saying, which I'm gonna just play it, she said, wouldn't that same more or less spirit be in them? And it is.
I think about all these things and I know the history of these things. And then I think about how they say that DNA, like trauma lives in our DNA. So if the trauma of my enslaved people live in my DNA, wouldn't the colonizing, cruel, malicious, terrible ways of these people live in your DNA?
Yeah, true. It is in their DNA, because they are the wicked, right? These people are the wicked. We're gonna prove that once I get this precept right here. It says this Ecclesiastes 1:15. It says that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered, right? So the Lord had made these devils crooked. Esau, Edom, right? So he made these devils to be the wicked. Is another precept. This is Ecclesiastes, still in the book of Ecclesiastes 7:13. It says, consider the work of the Most High, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, for who can make that straight which ye have made crooked, right? So like the scripture says, who can make straight that which I made crooked? The Lord had made these devils crooked. What is the book of Romans chapter 9, I think. This is it's talking about Edom. It tell you that, right? He's talking about Edom. Romans 9:13, it said, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. Where is that quoted from? Right? We'll come back there. Book of Malachi, chapter 1. In 1, it says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Yahawah, to Israel, by Malachi. It says, I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord Yahawah? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahawah of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call themselves the border of wickedness, right? So they are the wicked, and the people against whom the Lord Yahawah hath indignation forever. Indignation is righteous anger, right? So they are the wicked. Now we're going back to the book of Romans chapter 9, where it was quoted from, right? This is Romans chapter 9 and 13. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Where shall we say then, is there unrighteousness with the Most High? Most High forbid. For he saith unto Moses, Salaki, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion, right? So then is it not of him that so then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, the modern day Pharaoh is Esau, right? The modern day Pharaoh is Esau. modern day oppressor of the children of Israel. For the scriptures, saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and on whom he will harden, right? Read that verse again. It says, therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and on whom he will harden, right? So the Lord will have mercy on whoever he wants to have mercy, and he will harden the hearts of whoever he want to harden, right? Verse 19, it says, thou wilt say, then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who have resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that replieth against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Right? So the Lord has created, like the scripture says, who can make straight what I have made crooked? The Lord made these devils, Esau, Edom, these Edomites, the self-proclaimed white race. He made them crooked. He made them the wicked, and you can't change that. Just like that lady was saying, it's in their DNA. Wouldn't that same demonic, wicked spirit still being you of your ancestors? Because they are their ancestors coming back, right? There's a such thing as called reincarnation, right? And the Bible confirms that. Romans 9:20, it says, nay, but, O man, who art thou that replieth against the Most High? Shall the thing formed, right, say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Verse 21, it says, have not the potter power over the clay, right? So we are the clay. The potter is the Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawah, right? Of the same lump, to make one vessel unto honor, and another unto dishonor, right? So did not Jacob and Esau have the same mother and father, right? They came from that same lump, right? Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump, to make one vessel unto honor and the other unto dishonor? What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endureth with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, right? So these devils are the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction. Just like I read out of Malachi chapter 1 and 4, the people that the Lord have indignation forever, right? So they are created to be destroyed. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen to the whole nation of Edom in the kingdom. They're going to be ultimately wiped off the face of the earth, pursuant to the book of Obadiah, right? I'm going to get this last scripture. That should be it, right? Ethiopian changed his skin, right? So like, yeah. I'm not spelling it right. Eth, e, uh, Jeremiah 13:23, it says, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that is accustomed to do evil, right? So these devils are accustomed to doing evil. Let me see what it says out the New Living Translation, Jeremiah 13:23. And that should be it. So the Lord has created these devils to be the wicked, man. And Jake, a lot of these, 2/3, they don't see that. They can't, they think they can change Esau, you know, by, by, ass kissing and mouth and what man service and selling out other black folks, so-called black folks. They think they can sway Esau to being good. Jeremiah 13:23. Not you, massa. You know, coon ass niggas, man. This is Jeremiah 13. This is out the amp. It says Jeremiah 13 and 23. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Then you then you also can do good who are accustomed to do evil. Nah, it's like it. That's not right. This is out the New Living Translation, right? That wasn't a good translation right there. This is Jeremiah 13 and 23. It says, can an Ethiopian change the color of his skin? Can a leopard change away his spots? I mean, take away his spots. Neither can you start doing good, for you have always done evil, right? So these Edomites have always been evil. They have always been wicked throughout history, right? So they can't change who they are because the Lord had created them to be the wicked. He didn't create them to be righteous. He didn't create them to be wicked. Then they're gonna be righteous one day. Nah, they always gonna be wicked. They always gonna be the wicked. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it off there. I hope it's edifying to the elect. And I want to say, call Halayamah, Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawahshi, bahasham, Rawchaa Qadash. Shalom. Till next time, Yahawah, Rawchaa, which means Lord willing, and Wa Abba, Ball.